Hello everybody and welcome to this qualifying round playthrough for Expert Division in the Nordic Fjords 9-hole cup. Video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. You can get the ultimate tournament guide for the qualifying round for Expert and Master by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. And that is bonus content, as we normally don't involve the 9-hole cup in our Patreon packages. You can also follow the info box on the right hand side, or I would say that you shall follow the info box on the right hand side to follow along with the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, ball and club type that I do suggest play with. And as I already said, these are suggestions. You don't have to follow what I do suggest, but there is always a plan behind it. And for also to have that said, we're playing free to play. I'm trying to use a mix of katanas, titans, kingmakers, and an occasional berserker ball. The par 3s, when it comes to hole 4 and hole 7, are very tough to drop, so that put much more pressure in dropping the par 4s and also hole number 2, which is definitely a nice par 3 to play. In the end, if you have any questions, send in an email to support@golfclashtommy.com or make a comment in the comment section below. Let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we're gonna play with the big topper if possible. Here I can say that you shall be able to play with the big topper as low as level 3. And if you play expert, I do believe that the big topper level 3 is a club that you shall have. Add all topspin, 1 bar of side spin to the right. This case, I'm having the red ring by the rough line to the right. But I want us to focus on another thing, which I'm gonna take in gonna look at in just a bit. Max curl to the right. And that's also a reason why we do limit ourselves for big topper level 3 or better, as we do want to have curl, so we do prevent ourselves from going into the bunker that you could see there on the left. So we could have gone with less curl here. We could still be far away from the bunker, but it's better obviously to have as much as possible. Maximum distance plus 10, push up to max if needed, in my opinion. But the thing that we're gonna look at here that is the most important part to find the correct landing position. Look at the second bounce now, after adding spin. You can see that the second bounce is just before the rough line there at the top left. That is the spot that I want you to look at, because with the big topper and the different accuracy, you will have a hard time just following the rings and to find the correct position. So look at the ball guideline. That's going to be the absolute best way. Second shot is going to be a wedge, and here you can do obviously in whatever way you want, but here I would like to play true distance with a 25% over adjustment. So I judge this situation here to be approximately 75% club. That is my judgment here, and it worked really well. I'm using side spin to the right and 1 bar of top spin. The side spin to align the ball guideline as much as possible with the wind to give myself some fault margin with this type of shot. The reason I haven't added a min, mid or max in the info box to this type of shot is just because we don't really know in what type of club distance we are going to be, because it all depends on what type of bounces and rollout we're gonna get off the drive. But the fact is, we do want to get the ball to be as close to the green possible, and therefore as long drive possible, because having to play a max wedge on this hole is going to be very tricky. So hole number 1, the big topper is the key, and here a kingmaker would be good to have the side spin as well as. So max plus 10 for the drive, 20% elevation for the second shot, and true distance. Gonna have a good chance for hole 1. For hole number 2, we're gonna have a very good chance for a drop, and here we start with a power 5 ball in complete minimum distance, having the top of the left of the white ring by the rough line. Here in the video, I do play with 3 bars of topspin and 0.8 bars of side. Right. Once that is done, we change to a kingmaker, and this is to make sure that we're not gonna go in between clubs. Playing it 1-1, which is medium distance plus 10, or like, again, to simplify, 1-1 means that you take the wind. That is the amount of range that you shall adjust. So 7.1 miles per hour is 7.1 rings. We will hit perfect here, and you will notice that the ball is going to miss just slightly to the right. So here I would recommend us to play with around 0.6, 0.7 bars of side spin. Right, and I do believe this ball should be dropping. So a little bit too much of, again, of side spin. So remove a little bit of side spin to what I showed you here, and then I think this ball is going to drop many, many times too. For hole number 3, we're looking to use the club with the most power possible. In my case, that is an Apocalypse level 6. And you could play this drive with an extra mile, a Thor's hammer. The only difference is going to be is that you're going to have to go with a little bit of overpower for the drive. So I'm using a Titan, 2 bars of side spin to the right, no top spin, no back spin. And I'm looking to have the ball guideline pointing directly center down the fairway. Once I have that spot, I do adjust max plus 10, and then I will push up to complete max. Have in mind that this is with a 240-yard driver, so if you do play with, let's say, an Apocalypse level 4 or an Extra Mile level 8, which has 234, slash 236 yards of power, I would recommend to add 1 ring of overpower just to compensate for the less distance having. We do want to position ourselves like this around 355 yards. Second shot, now this is going to be a difficult shot, but I do feel that we should be able to play this one with the sniper and as low as sniper level 8 in this case. So 2 bars of side spin to the left. I'm also using backspin as you. Now I'm gonna leave the ball guideline a little bit short, but also to the left. So this is an offset to compensate for the wind push, which will be absolutely massive. You can see here that I'm moving up my target and start at +9. So target is approximately 1 green square short pin. Here I would, however, though, recommend to have half a green square shorter pin instead of 1 to make sure that we're not gonna fall short of line. 35% elevation, and I judge this to be approximately 80% slider from +9. And then in the end, this is a very difficult shot. I'm not expecting this one to drop that much, but I'm expecting myself to be close. And now if we could have just moved up a little bit, we would have had that one to drop as we are getting short line, unfortunately. So use the Titan, don't need to spend a Kingmaker here as already a tough par 5. We're looking to use the plus yardage for the second shot to get dialed in. So the max plus 35 or like 35% elevation from +9 with sniper 10 will play 82% slider. Hole number 4 is going to be a bonus drop if it drops. Here I've tested different type of alternatives here. I've tested a max rocket shot, I've tested a guardian shot with a power fireball, but in the end I'm going to rely on the beautiful sniper to get ourselves to the green and get ourselves a decent chance for an hole 1, even though even though it's still gonna be a massive bonus if it drops. 3 bars of side spin to the right, 4 bars of backspin. Look for the blue ring by the rough line with the second bounce just in between the dark and the bright green square row. And then I do adjust in the video here, I do adjust max plus 30. But you will notice as well that we will miss the left hand side, which means that we make an adjustment. So I would recommend that we do play maximum distance plus 25 to get closer to the end goal. It gets a nice bounce and it gets a nice kick in towards the pin, but we're approximately half a ring to a ring over adjusted there. So max plus 25 would get ourselves closer, but again, this is a bonus drop in my opinion, as there are so many things that could happen along the way. For hole number 5, we do want to use a driver with as much power possible. 2 bars of side spin to the left, 1 bar of top spin. I'm looking to have the second bounce approximately 1 ring from the sand and also 1 ring from the rough. It's not that super duper necessary to be exactly correct with that, but that is a reference that I'm using when setting up the shot, starting at complete max distance. Adjusting maximum distance plus 10. Once that is done, I will push up to max regardless of what power I do have on my driver. The only difference here will be when it comes to the driver is that if you do have a 240-yard driver, which is at an Apocalypse level 5 plus, you shall not go with any overpower. If you play with a driver around 235 yards, like an Apocalypse 4, like an Extra Mile level 8, I would recommend in that case to go with one ring of overpower, just to compensate for the less power that you're having. 3/4 of ball in curl to the left, also to add drive. Now, second shot, I'm going to use the plus yardage on my sniper to try to determine the slider adjustment I use. But first, I add spin. 2 bars of left spin, 3 bars of top spin, ball guideline to the hole. Not through the hole, not short of hole, to the hole. Once that is done, I take a look at the plus yardage, which shows +6. And for me, +6 gives me 72% slider with 15% elevation. This is, however, though, a very difficult shot to drop like in a frequent way. But with this adjustment suggested, it should be giving you a very close one with a perfect. Then maybe if you're lucky, drop. The adjustment here in the video is slightly more than the slider percentage that I did suggest, and that's why I did suggest a different adjustment of you ball left of pin. But we're getting at very close speed. Absolutely brilliant. So again, 72% slider from +6 based on sniper level 10, 15% elevation on hole 5. Hole number 6, we are not gonna go for green, but we are going to attempt to get close to green. That is the plan. Berserker ball, a power 5 ball. Use the ball that gives you the most win. But as we are trying to keep it free to play, the Berserker ball is going to be our option. 6 bars of top spin to just replicate the top spin level that you can use on a lower level type of driver. Now, when I do stretch out my target here to max, I'm looking to, or like I'm visualizing the ball guideline to be in between the rough on the left and the rough on the right. So it is some sort of an eyeball adjustment because I struggle to find a good reference on the fairway or water or in the rough for that matter to work with. But we do have a lot of room for error, and that's why we can do more towards an eyeball adjustment. Maximum distance +10. Once that is done, we push up to max and go full blast overpower. You can see how much fairway we do have to work with, and then we get the ball down towards green. And this is going to be a super simple wedge where we just going to play the wedge as a normal wedge and take the eagle. Those of you having a lower level type of driver, I would say that if you do have a driver that is 232 yards or better, then you shall be able to reach over the rough without any problems. And if you do have not even that, then that's going to be a difficult thing to do. You will clip the rough, and then you will have, if so, a long iron or a short iron towards the pin. And the thing that you can do with a lower level type of driver to make sure that you will reach over even though you don't have the power on your side, use a Wind Zero Power 5 ball. Again, that is a special ball, but that would be the way that I would go to make sure that I'm not going to lose a shot towards the other opponents that I do have in Expert, because frankly, this one needs to be an eagle, and we're going to have to get there regardless of what ball we're going to use. Hole number 7 is, in my opinion, one of the tougher par 3s there is in the game, because it's very difficult to adjust with all the bumps, with the sand, with the rough, and all the water that is as well. So, the way that I'm looking at it here, I play with the Goliath, 3 bars of side spin to the right, 3 bars of backspin. And now I'm looking to have the red ring slightly into the rough on the right, and with the second bounce just before the frame starts. This is with Goliath level 9. With Goliath level 8, I would move so I have the red ring by the rough line, not into. Adjustment, maximum distance plus 35 is what I'm using. Power 2 ball settings. As you notice as well, I use a katana, and the reason I use the katana is because, again, I don't want to spend a Kingmaker where I feel that the chance of getting this one to drop is the same with a katana, in my opinion. You can see that we miss approximately 1 green square to the right. I would recommend in this case to use 2.5 bar of side spin to the right instead of 3, which I do believe will get us closer to the end goal. But, you know, even though it's a par 3, and par 3s should be very good chances, I would say that this is and shall be considered a bonus drop as for hole number 4 if you get it to drop, because it's a tough wind and on a very tough par 3. So be okay with a birdie, but with adjustment, with the minor tweak, with the side spin there, you will have a decent chance for 1. For hole number 8, we're gonna go for green here as well. Here I stretch out to absolute max to find half of the red ring outside on the fairway. And this is with Apocalypse 456, with Apocalypse level 7, level 8. I would recommend in that case to go with the half of the blue ring outside on the fairway instead. 2 bars of side spin to the left, 1.5 bar backspin, and then we adjust max plus 10. You will notice we push up to max. And then we're going to apply overpower. And here it's important to apply overpower based on the power on your club. So if you do play with a 240-yard driver, you play with 3 rings of overpower. If you do play with a driver around 235 yards of power, then you play 4.5 rings instead, just to compensate yards. See, here the ball comes in nicely, and we are going to stop there for a beautiful shot and also a safe eagle putt. You can move your target a little bit more left if you want to push it for an hole-in-one, or if you have a tendency to hit a lot of rights. But that's the way that I play. This is the way that I play hole 8 for a safe and secure eagle. Hole number 9, we're gonna play a no movement shot. What that means is that you shall not touch the target until it's time to adjust the rings. So it's a very simple drive in that regard. So 6 bars of topspin, I'm using 1 bar of left spin. Here I would like to use more topspin, but the reason I'm using 6 bars is to make you see that you can use a lower level type of driver and still manage to play this hole in a good way. Once I have adjusted for maximum distance plus 5, I shall push up to max and go full blast overpower, regardless of how much topspin that you're using. I'm using a Kingmaker ball here to reduce the wind, but you could obviously play with a tight here also if you do want to save your Kingmakers. I do, however, think it is very important to have in mind that this is a tough drive, and if you go into the rough, you will not be able to reach for the green in 2, even though there is a tailwind shot. You also saw that with a great left, we came very close to the rough line to the left, but that is because in the video I play max plus 10. That's why I suggest maximum distance plus 5, make sure that we're not gonna be that close if we do hit a great left. Second shot, I want to play with the Cataclysm here to make sure that I do have the power every single time. And to be honest, I do not expect this one to drop that many times or even one time. I do expect myself to be close and secure the eagle, but I'm not expecting this one to drop all the time. So that's why I'm playing with the Cataclysm as well. Otherwise, you could push it with the sniper. You could also push it with a P4 ball, P5 ball, and go with the sniper once again to have a better chance. But again, it's the qualifying round. It's a 9-hole cup. I do not want to spend their better balls, and we do want to focus on playing free play. 2 bars of side spin to the right is what I'm using. Max plus 20 for max distance. And honestly, if you get it close or get it to drop, not getting close, but if you get it to drop, see that as a massive bonus. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this playthrough for Expert Division with the qualifying round win for the Nordic Fjords 9-hole cup here in Golf Clash. The game video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Make sure to get the ultimate tournament guide for the qualifying round. Bonus content on patreon.com/golfclashtommy, link directly in the description down below. Once again, thank you so much and good luck in your Golf Clash game.